And unfortunately, I'm just going to say it here, if you are one of the people that believes that and tells people that, you are just dogmatic at this point. There is so much scientific data backing the efficacy and long-term safety. What's going on, guys? It's Jacob Sunday Lifters. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing the a very specific supplement that I have added to my longevity stack, and as always I'm going to cover off the reasons why and why you might want to do the same. Sadly, my microphone still hasn't arrived, guys. I had to do this video tonight because I just will not get a chance at the end of this week. So apologies for that again. If the audio is not so good, it will definitely be ready for the next one. Before I go into that supplement and why I'm taking it and why you might do, if you could drop this a like, a comment, and consider subscribing if you're not already. It does help my channel grow and it is hugely appreciated. So in previous videos, I have covered some of the supplements and medications that I personally take. I've explained my reasons for taking them, some of the effects, side effect profiles, all those kind of things. And I did the benign intervention series, which you can also check out if you would like to, where I covered 2 medications in particular. I do intend to do some more benign interventions. In fact, I have got one lined up that I will try and get in very, very soon. It's just I need to get the research right when I'm going that in depth, and it does take some time. The reason I didn't put the supplement we're going to discuss today onto the benign intervention list is actually just because it is a supplement and not a medication. I don't know initially when I made benign intervention if I said supplements and medications, but I think I am just going to reserve it for medications. The supplement we're going to cover in today's video, you would have absolutely heard of. It is creatine. I can imagine you are a little bit surprised hearing that creatine is making it onto my longevity stack, but I will, as always, explain my reasons for that. I am not, however, going to go super in depth of what creatine does and its mechanisms of action. The reason being because the very first video I did on this channel was about creatine, and there is pretty much all the information in there. I'm not going to say it's delivered in a particularly exciting or concise way, but the information's out there. Alternatively, you could check out anyone else's video on creatine. There's a lot out there. So the reason I am taking creatine monohydrate and adding it to my longevity stack, i.e. what I mean by that is I'm going to be taking it whether I'm training, whether I'm not, whether I'm ill, in good health. It's a permanent staple until I've got a reason to take it out, i.e. a new study comes out and it changes my opinion, whatever. But for now, it's going in and it will be staying there. 5 grams every day. Why? Creatine monohydrate is the most science-backed supplement in regard to increasing exercise capacity and increasing lean body mass. The reason that would be a good thing for longevity is simply because as we get older, we lose our muscle tissue. It starts to waste away. You've probably heard use it or lose it before. It's very true. Obviously, in age, sort of exercise capacity goes down. Creatine will help prevent that loss of exercise capacity as we age. As muscle wastes away and we become weaker, we're much more susceptible to injury, and actually all-cause mortality goes up in those who have less sort of strength and muscle on their frame as we age. It's just something that happens. A weaker person is more susceptible to serious injury. There's things like broken hips and broken ankles and things like that in later life that can actually increase all-cause mortality as well. It's like this nasty little cascade going on. So keeping muscle on our frame as we age is a great way of preventing serious injuries like that from occurring, and also just in general because of that very reality basically of having more muscle on your frame. And like I say, in studies it has been shown that just having more muscle on your frame actually decreases all-cause mortality. There is the other extreme to that, and obviously having way too much muscle on your frame will also increase all-cause mortality, but there is this nice zone in between those two extremes of having complete muscle wastage and having so much lean contractile tissue on your frame. Your heart is working overtime. We know exercise and being able to exercise and how frequently we exercise, particularly in terms of cardiovascular exercise, is also directly sort of correlated with how susceptible we are to death, how, all-cause mortality again coming into play. If we can exercise, and we do exercise regularly and exercise efficiently, get the heart, beat into a sufficient level, the blood pumping, all this kind of stuff, the drill. If all of that criteria is being met, then that will also help prevent death. What does creatine do? It allows you to work harder, go a bit further, do a bit more during your exercise. Being able to do that is only going to be a good thing. Finally, the other fringe benefit of creatine that sort of sealed the deal for me in terms of adding it to my longevity stack is because it increases recovery. And not to sort of go over all the same stuff I just did in the last point, but an increased recovery means that I can do more exercise day to day. I'll be able to walk a bit further, sprint for a bit longer, lift something slightly heavier or do an extra rep. And all of those things mean that the workout, my exercise, is more effective, and therefore I'm going to benefit from that long term. If people really want to maximize on their health in terms of having muscle and a sufficient amount of muscle on their frame, what we really need to be doing is in early life working very hard to build muscle and make sure we have a good amount going into the sort of middle area of our life when we're middle-aged. At that point it becomes a lot harder to build muscle, but what we try to do in that period of our lives, or what we should try to do I should say, is maintain muscle. And finally, as we sort of get into our more senior years, approaching sort of maybe 60 to 80 and onwards, we want to be doing what we can to prevent muscle loss. And creatine can also help in that regard. There is still some debate into a downside of creatine potentially being that it can cause hair loss. And again, I touch on that in the video that I did initially when I started this channel. If as a result of taking creatine monohydrate, you do see an increase in dihydrotestosterone, yes, that will make you more susceptible to hair loss. But fundamentally, androgenic alopecia is not something that's going to affect your health. There could be an argument it might affect your mental health if it makes you lose confidence, it makes you anxious. It's a separate sort of topic. Talking in terms of physical health, it doesn't have any negative effects if you lose your hair. There are also some people who claim that creatine can cause gout, it can actually increase uric acid, things like that. There's many arguments and claims people make. The science backs none of it. And unfortunately, I'm just going to say it here, if you are one of the people that believes that and tells people that, you are just dogmatic at this point. There is so much scientific data backing the efficacy and long-term safety of creatine monohydrate supplementation that it is really ridiculous that people still spout this sort of stuff. Whether you decide to add it to your longevity stack is entirely up to you. You can make your own mind up, do the research, guys, have a look out there. I felt somewhat compelled to make this video just because of the safety profile of this supplement and how accessible it is to everyone. I think everyone could benefit from taking creatine monohydrate at a efficacious dose of 5 grams or less. I don't want to say for sure. More than that won't have any negative side effects, but I can almost guarantee at 5 grams or less a day, you won't have any negative side effects. I will be taking 5 grams daily from now on, irregardless of my workout routine, my workout frequency, etc. This video made me think that it's probably a good time soon to do a full update on my longevity stack, and I will get around to doing that before the end of the year. You have my word. But for now, I hope this video helped, guys. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment, let me know your thoughts. If you could subscribe if you're not already, it helps the channel grow. It's hugely appreciated. If you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, you can follow me on all my socials. It's at Sunday Lifters on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you can email me at sundaylifters@gmail.com for workout plans, coaching, or sponsorships. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys, as always, and I'll see you back here again soon.